How are you? I just got back from a backpacking trip a few weeks ago. I walked from Portugal to Spain. I volunteered in Spain. I ended up back in Portugal. I ended up back in Spain. And then I finally came home. And ever since I've been home, I've been staring at my vision board back there in all its glory and just like cheesing, just straight like, because quite literally, I go through each picture and I'm like, everything came true, like in its own way. And in my heart, like everything came true that I wanted. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. I'm going to tell you what I mean. I'm in my juicy two-piece, feeling very girly pop. I have my pink Stanley. I'll show it. My little sister bought that for me. She keeps me young, but I also was staring at my YouTube play button, like sitting on top of my vision board because I don't know, I just feel like this will make you listen to me maybe. It's like I have a little proof because obviously I had a little picture of YouTube play button up there and I got a YouTube play button. Toot toot. Tooting my own horn. um, I wanted to talk about not only like how I made the goals and aspirations come true, but also like how I can enjoy making my next goals come true, hence yours, right? And making the process more enjoyable. And then I suppose your goals and dreams and aspirations, they'll thrive and like come in even better if you're in that state of mind. So keep in mind, I succeeded with what I wanted to this year. There's still 2 months left in the year, so like I'm doing good. I'm broke, but it's fine because I did put a little money thing on here, but it was more like just have enough money to do the things that like I feel I want to do and need to do. And that happened, sort of. um, I basically just want to talk about how I think that you can start going towards your dreams and goals. Not only doing that, but doing it a little more gracefully and enjoying the process a little bit more, which I think and I hope I'm starting to get the hang of maybe just now. But yeah, I was looking over at my vision board and I'm like, yeah, it happened, right? And even though it all happened, that doesn't mean I didn't spend the entirety of the year worried about it happening and how it was going to happen and what it was going to look like and if it was going to live up to my expectations and if things were going to go the way I want. And then after they do go the way I want, I wonder, is the next thing I want going to go the way I want, right? It was like, yeah, my goals were coming true. I was healing. Amazing things happened for me this year. Horrible things too, you know, life is both. But I spent the entire time worrying and I'm looking over at this vision board. I'm like, God, what I would do to go back to me at the beginning of the year and just be like, girl, it's not going to be how you picture. Exactly, of course. But it's all going to be fine. It's going to work out and it's going to be fun. And you're going to be like on your way to your dream life. Relax. You just have a blast. And the way I know my goals would have even exceeded this vision board had I been able to be in that thought process and that energy throughout the year. I reached them not being in that energy, right? So it's like I can't even imagine what this year's bringing for me as I begin to regulate my nervous system and heal even more and trust. And so it's like, okay, if I could go back to me at the beginning of the year and say, like, relax, enjoy it, everything's gonna be fine, I'd be like 10 steps ahead. Not that I need to be, I do believe I'm where I need to be, but I'm going to pretend that me next year, I've already made a new vision board. I've already made all my new goals, right? I've revised them, whatever the frig. And I'm like, wow, look at everything I achieved. And I'm sure there's parts of me that are already worrying about and thinking about the future, right? And I'm going to pretend that future me is looking back at me right now. And she's like, relax. You don't need clarity on every little thing. You don't need to know how everything's going to work out. You don't need to know every single step to start now. to be consistent now, to start saying yes to the things you want, and to stop procrastinating, and to start healing, and to stop saying yes to things that give you temporary joy but ultimately hurt you in the long run, right? Even though you have that voice that's like, don't do that, you do it anyways because it feels good in the moment. I just really wanted to share that with you because now I'm in this energy of, oh my God, future me's already looking back and telling me how amazing things are going to go the same way this just happened for me now. And I can just be like, and that doesn't mean I'm going to sit back and do nothing. I'm taking action. It just means I'm going to be taking action and I'm not going to be full of crippling anxiety coming from someone who just 2 years ago was sometimes too scared to even leave the house. Let me just show you like what I've been doing I'll show you some clips from my last YouTube video I uploaded. Like, girl, I've been doing it and like, oh my God. So next few things I'm going to say, you're not necessarily going to love them, but like, you know, I'm the type of friend that tells you things you need to hear, even when you don't want to hear them, because I genuinely care for you, okay? If you have friends that are just like, yes, girl, constantly, and they never tell you when you're in the wrong, and they never try to make you better, make you grow, not a real friend. Real friend is like, hello, what are you doing? There is no quick fix. There's no, how do I make everything on my vision board come true? How do I make my dream life come true? Like, you know, no, there's not a single YouTube video that's going to do all of that for you. The truth is, the point of life is every single one of us is an individual and is different and like a snowflake. You know that already, right? And so there's no pill, there's no diet, there's no YouTube video, there's no course. There is nothing that is going to fix everything. Sure, there's these pieces you can take and these tools you can add to your toolbox, but ultimately you are the only you. Thus, there's only one journey that you're following, and so there is no one answer to get there. There's just here and here in your stomach, and here sometimes that little voice that's really wise and you want to ignore it because you just want to do what you want to do. Stop ignoring it. Stop ignoring it and stop trying to make sense of it all the time. Not everything needs to be thought through. Yeah, some things really do, right? But everything needs balance. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of things where if you just said yes or you just took that leap, you took a risk every once in a while, it would probably turn into something really amazing. Of course, you need to have some goals. If you want your vision board to come true, you need to have a vision board, you need to have goals. And going into my next subject, you need to be consistent, which is so painfully difficult. The biggest issue for me being consistent was anytime I would start a task, which was very hard for me to even start a task, I would then get down on myself for not being good at it right away, for it not being perfect. That goes into perfectionism. And then I would quit, and then it would be even more difficult for me to start it again because I shit on myself so bad previously. It wasn't fun, you know, I didn't enjoy it. So like the key to slowly crawling to, it's like, have you ever seen What About Bob? Best movie ever. Baby steps. It's like so true. Baby steps. There's the most cliche sayings. When you hear a cliche saying, like genuinely listen to it and think about it. It's cliche for a reason. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's so true. Stop shitting on yourself for not being perfect at something you just started, or for not having a goal that you just decided that you're striving for. Stop making your goals based on like a warped idea of what you think success is, and start making your goals based on just showing up and being consistent. That's what builds things. That's what builds a life, and that's what creates sustainability. It's the same way with a diet. You know how some people, they're like, let me lose 5 to 10 pounds in a month, and then they gain it all right back. It's because you didn't change anything. You just struggled, lost the weight, didn't learn a thing, and gained it right back. Stop trying to force everything. It's like, if you, using the diet analogy, if you just started like, bringing some veggies into your dinner sometimes, or, taking walks in the morning, starting to learn about exercise that feels good for you and that you enjoy. Maybe slower movements is more your style, yoga or something, and like you slowly start doing 10 minutes a day. Next thing you know, like, yeah, it wasn't quick fix, it wasn't like a pill you took that made you feel good and healthy, but all of a sudden, a few years later, you look and feel drastically different and you don't even really notice, but your goals, they start to fall into place as you're learning and growing and healing and enjoying yourself. So, for an example, one of your goals is to maybe like try hobbies, be more passionate. You know what I mean? You want to focus less on like relationships or something like that, and you want to focus on like what makes you happy and feel good. A goal you can make for yourself for consistency is like maybe just trying something new once a week, right? And it's like you don't even have to like it or go back to it, but you're creating these small steps that are slowly changing your life. Next thing you know, you join this club and you meet a really great friend, and then that friend invites you on this really amazing trip, and then you go on this trip, and then and do you see what I mean? Or you say yes to this thing that you usually wouldn't, and you end up meeting this person and it gets you this job, and when you get this job you meet your next partner, and you meet your next partner and you guys have the same like small steps, like you're closer to what you want than you think, and the only thing really standing in your way is you. If you just start paying attention, and it sounds corny, but like listening to your heart and your intuition, and yeah, dealing with like the uncomfortability and the uncertainty and, the scary things that come up when you're healing. Because I understand it's easier said than done, and there's all these things, fear and things that come up, right? But if you slowly keep moving towards it, you're going to start to see a path, okay? And maybe several paths, and they could all be good, And you're not always going to know what's going on. But if you can get in tune with yourself a little more, you're gonna kind of be like, all right, but that's kind of exciting, Stop feeding into the anxiety of, well, I don't know if it's gonna work out. I don't know if this thing is gonna happen. I don't know if I'm gonna get this thing I really want. And start leaning into the excitement of that that's the point of being human, is that we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow or in a week or in a year. And if we did know, there wouldn't really be a point, right? I could talk forever about certain subjects, and I should like make separate videos, but ultimately the idea is it's not really about another cliche phrase. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But no, it truly is, and it's not really about the goals. It's literally about what you are doing to get to those goals. And by the time you get to them, you're already going to feel happy and satisfied with yourself. You might not even notice you achieved them until you come back from your trip one day and you look over at your vision board and you're like, oh, yeah, I did all that. But like part of me wasn't even present enough to enjoy it because I was freaking out if it was going to happen or not, Yeah, I hope this made sense. I wonder sometimes if I should script things like this because I like to go on tangents. But I like to just be random, but also I have so many thoughts. Sometimes it's not. I wonder if it's even making sense. Please let me know. If anything, even if this video gets freaking 50 views, one person comment, let me know if this made any sense or if I just sound crazy. Thank you. If I sound crazy, I'll start scripting so that they make more sense. Or at least writing like topics down to go through so that I don't just like, I don't know. Anyways, I think you can do it. I think you should sit down and write your goals out. I don't care if it's not January yet. If you don't have a vision board right now, who cares if it's the end of the year? So your new year starts now. Sit down, write your goals out, make them based on your heart and what you think is going to make you happy, not just what you want, right? Think about what you need, and then think about realistic, small, consistent steps you can take to get there, and then slowly start doing them every single day. that's how you become the person you want to be. Okay, you don't do it all in 24 hours and then forget about it for a month, okay? You do it for maybe an hour every day, right? Maybe an hour a day, you are your dream version of yourself, or not even. Maybe sometimes it's just 5 minutes of the day, you're the dream version of yourself. If that's every single day, soon it's going to be 10 minutes. Next thing you know, it's an hour. Next thing you know, it's 10 hours. Next thing you know, you are living your dream life. And yeah, coming from someone who's not even fully there yet, I'm just on my way. I just know I'm going there. Just know. Okay, stick with me. We're going to do it. I love you. You're amazing.